Hey y'all, it's Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a story time about how a health scare changed my life. So this will be part one where I explain what happened, and next week I'll be posting a part two about how the NHS wait list affected my whole recovery and all of that. So what had happened was back in October of 2023, I had just been feeling really unwell for like months and months and months though. And when I say unwell, I'm someone who I'm going to power through. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to just make a way out of no way. That's just the way that I am. And because I had basically become accustomed to ignoring the red flags that was telling me that I was unwell, it took so long of me feeling unwell where my health was like basically at a like very distressed level for me to even seek like medical help or a medical intervention. And so what was going on is I was tired all the time. I mean, I could sleep like well at night and wake up and I'm still exhausted. And at the time, I was working two jobs. I was working a full-time mental health practitioner role. I was actually working as like a crisis counselor at the time. And in that particular service, the schedule you worked was 12-hour shifts. So that wasn't helping. So because I was working 12 hours, let's say, for example, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., or sometimes I would work third shift, which is the overnight shift, which was 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., my sleep schedule was dysregulated because week in, week out, like my schedule was changing. And because of that sort of fluctuation, it was impacting my sleep already. And then aside from that, I was working at a hospital 2 days a week just to make some more money. But I was doing that during like regular business hours. So let's say I worked a 12-hour shift on Monday, then Tuesday I would work at the hospital. So I was working a crazy amount of hours at the time. And so I thought me being so exhausted all the time was just because I'm working so much and I'm busy. And because I'm so busy and I'm working irregular hours, I'm thinking that that is what's causing me to be so tired. Along with like extreme lethargy, like my appetite had significantly reduced. And I'm not someone that has like a huge appetite anyway, but I like to cook, I like a good meal, and all of that good stuff. And my appetite was just reducing. And again, I thought it was because I was tired. And I thought because I was tired, my body was just prioritizing like sleep and rest over like fueling my body. And this is before I became like physically active in terms of like my workout routine. Now I'm a gym girl, I'm a gym rat, but at this time I wasn't. And part of the reason why I wasn't working out, even though I had a gym membership, is because I was working so much. And so along with the poor quality of sleep, along with the reduction in my appetite, the third symptom, which I should not have ignored so long, was shortness of breath. And I would get short of breath doing like really basic things. So if I'm exiting the tube to go to the hospital to work, shortness of breath. If I'm taking a shower, I like to take long showers, TMI. If I'm taking a long shower, after 20, 25 minutes, shortness of breath. And I posted a video a while ago when I was in Italy, when I was in Bergamo. And in that video, there is a scene where we have to walk up like all of these steps. And in the video, you can hear me complaining about being so tired from climbing up like all of these steps. Now, yes, it was a lot of steps, but I should not have been that winded where I had to take so many breaks to get up that like all of these steps. And I'm ignoring all of these red flags. So, if you do not pay attention to your body and take precautions and seek the medical help that you need, your body is going to shut down on you. And that is basically what happened to me. So, because I kept powering through, kept working, ignoring all of the signs that I was physically unwell, I started to feel just randomly one day like extreme pain in like my lower abdominal pelvic region. But the pain was so intense, like how I'm seated now, I couldn't sit. I was like bowled over like this because the pain was like so intense. And I am somebody that has a very high tolerance for pain. And for me to feel like that level of discomfort, it told me that, okay, I got to go to the doctor and see what's going on. So I ended up booking an emergency appointment with the GP, with my doctor. And the doctor that saw me was like, it is abnormal for you to be in so much pain in your lower stomach, in your pelvic region, that it's hurting for you to sit, like sit upright. Because even in the doctor's office, I'm like laid over to the side, I'm laying down. Because sitting like this, it hurt because it just felt like a heavy pressure on like my lower abdomen region. So the doctor's like, you need to go to the emergency room right now. And she said, I'm so worried. I'm going to contact the ER and let them know that you're on the way because I'm worried that you can't even sit because of the amount of pain that you're in. So when I get to the emergency room, oh, I forgot to say this part. So what I thought the issue was is at the time I had what's called an inguinal hernia. A hernia is just when you have an opening normally it's in your abdomen region where like the intestines and fat and all that pokes through the opening. I thought the pain that I was feeling was from the inguinal hernia because it had not been repaired at the time. And so that's what I told the doctor. I said, I think it's my hernia that is maybe causing this discomfort. And so she put all of that in the write up. And if your hernia becomes strangled, that's what it's called, a strangled hernia, it can lead to one of the outcomes could be like you can basically die. And so she put that in the write up about me presenting to the emergency room. So when I get there, I tell them my name, I give them my NHS number, and they take me to the back. I'm seated in there for like 1 minute in the waiting room for like 1 minute, and they take me to the back. And the doctor that saw me, he's doing like a physical examination of the area of my stomach where I'm like, it's painful. Like it's painful to sit. Like even when he's doing it, even when he's like pressing against my abdomen, it's painful. And I'm a slim. I done slim down. You can go back and watch the video about how I maintain my weight loss. So because I'm slim, my stomach is like flat. I have a flat stomach, and the doctor is like pushing on my stomach, and he's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "What is what?" And he's like, I can see something bulging from the inside of your stomach. Like I could see it because I'm like so slim. You could see this bulge coming from the lower part of my stomach. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And because the doctor could see this bulge, he orders for me to have a full body CT scan. And so I have the CT scan and they come back with the results and they're telling me it's not the hernia that's causing the pain. You have over 20 uterine fibroids and you have a really large fibroid right below your belly button that's about 15 centimeters wide. And that is what's causing you so much pain because of the size and the location of that fibroid. That is why you're not able to sit down. And so they just do a whole bunch of other tests after they do the CT scan. And one of the things that they do is they test my hemoglobin levels. And my iron level was in the low 30s. And the medical team was so worried. They basically told me, like, you should not be able to walk. You should not be able to talk. And the way that I'm talking to you guys right now is how I'm talking to them. And they're like, you should not be able to walk. You should not be able to talk. And because your iron is so low, we can't even let you out of our sight. And so they had me sit at the nurse's bay until a bed became ready. And they were like, you're going to have iron transfusions because it's unsafe for you to be walking around, and we cannot discharge you until we get you the blood transfusions to get your iron increased. So I was hospitalized for 2 days, and I had 6 bags of blood transfused. And even after that, my blood count went from the low 30s to like the mid to high 70s. So it's still low, because on average, women of childbearing age, our hemoglobin level should be like around 120, 125 as an average. And I was still way below the average. And so I recently had a myomectomy where I had 19 fibroids removed. And so I'm in the process of healing and recovering from that surgery. And on Christmas Eve last year, I had the hernia repaired. So I've had 2 surgeries in 3 months. But I share this story to share with you that if you are someone who is like me, where you're just always on the go, always working, always traveling, always doing stuff, and you put your health to the side, you don't follow up with your doctor or a licensed medical practitioner when you're feeling unwell, that stuff is going to catch up with you. And it caught up with me in terms of intense abdominal pain to the point that I could not ignore it. While I was ignoring the shortness of breath, while I was ignoring the extreme tiredness, and like ignoring that my appetite had diminished, a symptom showed up that I could not ignore, and it required me to take action. And I want you to learn the lesson that I should have learned, is that you have to prioritize your health. If you do not prioritize your health, literally nothing else matters. And how this particular healthcare scare changed my life is when the doctor finished, doing administering the transfusions, he told me, like, the remedy to sort your health out is this myomectomy. You're going to have the fibroids removed. And if you are in great shape going into the surgery, your recovery is going to be a lot easier. Say less, my guy, say less. Literally the next week after I was discharged from the hospital, I started working out. And ever since then, I've been working out 4 to 5 times a week and focusing on eating like a whole food diet. I'm not a vegan. I eat seafood. I love, salmon and smoked mackerel and prawns and all of that. But I do eat plant-based protein as well. But I just try to limit the amount of processed foods I have. I try and limit the amount of alcohol I drink. And I prioritize just eating whole foods, fruits and vegetables and all of that. I have other videos on my channel where I talk about that. But that health scare forced me to prioritize my health in a way that has positively impacted my life, because I'm in the best shape of my life. Right now, I'm in the recovery phase of the myomectomy, so I haven't been able to go to the gym. So I've been focusing more on rest and focusing more on eating like really healthy foods. I did have a cookie. I had a cookie the other day. But for the most part, I'll have a treat every now and then, but I don't eat, I just don't eat fast food. It's like a lot of foods that I don't eat in order to maintain my health. And, your girl is 41, child. and the face is not giving 41, the body is not giving 41, but it was a health scare that forced me to take command of my health. And so make sure you come back next week for part 2, where I discuss how the current crisis with the NHS, which is the wait list, impacted my health in a way that, you could look at it as a positive, because it then forced me to do more holistic things. But I had to wait over a year to have both of the surgeries that I needed. So make sure that you come back next week to watch that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I post new videos every Monday. So I'll see y'all next time.